boys.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The lads.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST.
The bros.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The homies.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Experience the BOYSCAST.
The boys. Cast.
Bo 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 bo. That's the Bruno Mars. And I'm having trouble totally getting it.
Yeah,
What is it?
I just remember the beginning.
So, Manhattan nannies
Yeah,
have been getting banged.
getting banged out. This one dude this guy's got some fucking nerve on him.
Kind of is a bit of nerve,
This
right?
guy's crazy, man. It's just like ruining his whole life. And the all guys are just denying it to the grave.
Everyone here is deny. And there might be some of them, but there was basically 6 or 7 stories that have all been popping up. So apparently a big thing that these dudes do I remember Howard Stern used to always say that the banging the babysitter porn was like his big fucking thing. He's always talking about that. But
smash the babysitter.
well, that's what he was saying, yeah. But apparently a lot of dudes are getting nannies from that don't speak English that well, and they're banging them but it's part of the deal. I'm not just saying smashing the nanny. I'm saying it's
Like
part
of the arrangement.
It's kind of what
That's
it sounds
some
like.
nerve, because like this one dude, the chick wasn't into this, and the guy's essentially saying you're a nanny, huh? That means you're gonna give me a blowjob here and there. And
Well, this is when the
what?
job interview. So this Manhattan dad was recorded asking nanny candidates for oral sex as part of her duties. If you do want that, you might as well put it out of on the table.
I
at
don't
the
know
beginning.
you're allowed to do that legally. I don't know. There's. Any,
I don't think you are.
I don't think there's any sort of legal element there.
So this is a guy in New York, just like a normal rich guy.
Yeah.
He had the yarmulke on the photos.
Yeah. It's him at his
One of your
Jewish-
people.
Jewish wedding.
Yeah.
This guy's got some fucking nerve.
Rich Jewish guy that he goes, so basically, and she went public with it, but 27-year-old from Thailand, so it's not even like she was some college kid trying to get clout or some shit out of there.
Yeah. And a lot of them coming out of the woodworks afterwards.
So yeah, this is a lot. There was someone sent me a couple of these articles, and I already had 2 from before, and it was just is it that common where dudes are
I guess.
And then-
it seems like a bit of a trope. Yeah, the guy's smashing the babysitter, but you think it's not really happening, is it?
That's
I
what
guess
I-
it is.
I didn't realize the extent to which it was happening. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the most famous one.
Yeah, where he just straight up knocked up his maid.
That was the ultimate in just being a sex addict type.
Yeah, you go whatever's around.
He did not give 2 shits.
No.
Upper West Side dad allegedly harassed a young woman who applied for babysitting gigs. She's 27 years old and from Thailand, and he met with her. Well, in the bathroom, he said, so he waited till he sort of got to the bathroom too.
To be in his 1-bedroom apartment. It's like a tiny tour. Then he goes, this is the bathroom.
He showed her a cushion and remarked that it would be good for performing oral sex and asked, do I like a blowjob? And then he goes, have you ever done that or not?
And the wife's 8 feet away being like, what was that? And he goes, nothing. Goes,
I always
like
see
that
a
or
lot
no?
of things like this where I'm I would never have the balls, I think, in a million years.
Insane. Unless that's the girl's into it too, and she's like, yeah, it would be so hot if the nanny blows you. And then he's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think the only way that you'd maybe have the cojones is if your wife, but even then, I think your wife would be like, yeah, just go ask the girl for the blowjob. And then I'd go in and I'd be like, would you want to blow me? And she'd be like, what? I go,
She goes,
nothing.
what? He goes, I mean,
Yeah, I'd go back to the wife and did you ask her? It's like, yeah, she said yes, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I think we're in some legal trouble.
I don't think I'd have the guts to pull off that straight up, would
Insane.
you want to have sex with me?
Crazy that he's just trying to casually being like, so yeah, there's the blow dryer. This is where you might be able to blow me. I'm just like, what would you say? Oh, nothing.
This is where I would get my blowjobs. Really?
Apparently this guy's a notable hound though.
What do you mean?
Well, they're saying a lot of people were coming out of the woodworks for this one dude saying yeah, he did the same thing to me.
So this guy is a notable hound in New York.
Yeah, it's saying someone said he did the same with me in a different Facebook group.
I don't
And
know
then
why you just
they
wouldn't be
go-
on the prosties if you were this guy.
I know,
It's like,
insane.
he just wants, because like, why would you want the girl that you're getting the beaches from to be like around?
Well, I mean, I will say that as someone, he's one of my people, he might be a little frugal. And he thinks I'm paying for this thing, and then you're here now.
He's turning this into a 2-for-1 because we're like, yeah, why don't you just go to the prosties? He's like, well, why? I mean, the answer is pretty obvious because one thing I'm paying one thing for and one thing I'm paying two things for.
Exactly. Yeah.
It probably is cheaper too because if someone goes to a prostitute, probably up, looking at $500 or something like.
Yeah, I mean, if you hire a prostitute to be your nanny, that's as expensive as a nanny could get.
So if you want a beach every week,
questionable.
that's 52 times 500. You're looking at an extra 25 grand. You could probably give the nanny an extra like 15 grand a year.
Yeah, unless she's like, but that's the problem is generally they're like, I just want to be a nanny and not a prostitute. And then you need the nanny who essentially has designs, like you have such a nice lifestyle where they're like, oh, I can maybe steal this guy away from the wife and be the new wife.
That's the last thing you want is the nanny, the blowjob nanny with dreams of being the real wife.
But that's probably the normal.
Then you have a real like narc in your house.
Yeah, but that I feel is like what's normal. The more normal situation is like the nanny's like, oh, I want to take her spot, not just like, oh, I just want to give this dude head as part of my job. Like what?
That is there's probably some nannies that have done that too. So secretaries definitely have worked their way up from like, you know what I mean, the other girl to the main girl.
Yeah.
That's happened for sure. But being the nanny that works your way up from like, I'm like cleaning the bathrooms to now I'm
Taking
like,
care. Well, you're taking care of the kids, so they go. It's like it's almost like it's easy to step into that role.
especially if they get divorced.
That's what you're trying to do.
That had to have happened.
I mean, there's probably no shortage of fucking movies with that exact.
Especially if you get booked. Like you're almost, the nanny's almost incentivized at that point too, because the nanny's so incentivized to tell the wife and break up your marriage and then being like, so I guess me and you, because she's like,
course.
Oh, well, why don't we be together? It's like, we can't. And be like, well, I could solve that pretty easily.
Yeah.
I'm married. To be like, well, you're not married anymore.
Yeah. Especially if you like, you plant some stuff or whatever.
I'm part of a Brazilian group from babysitting gigs in the city, and 3 of the girls said that he asked the same thing. They were scared to say anything or go to the police because of immigration status. I hear that as a immigrant.
As an immigrant, you don't like to go to the police?
I don't know if I would, yeah. Like, I mean, think about this. If you got robbed and you were like overstaying your welcome in America before you got your visa, would you have said anything to the cops?
Because I know there actually is a thing. I think they won't. There's a lot of things where they won't, like a lot of scenarios where they won't like look into your immigration because like
Maybe
like
in New York,
because like a sanctuary city or whatever, like stuff like that. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. But yeah, these chicks are like probably not even overstayed. They're just like came on visitor visas and then they're here totally illegally. And they just don't know, and they're like, I'd rather just not say anything than risk getting sent back to fucking Thailand.
And I guess like the actual crime was the guy just asking you, where it's not like the guy like beat you up or anything. He asked you, and you're like, I had this. In all actuality, if you just said no and that's where it ended, you're like, that guy's a creep.
Yeah.
But like, am I getting the police involved to deal with this? I can understand why you wouldn't want
His probably main thing too is he's probably just like, yeah, there's just a misunderstanding. They don't speak English as their first language. He's
kind of what he was saying.
Yeah. He probably has calculated this whole thing.
His wife was on his side too.
Well, publicly his wife's on his side. I'm sure his home life is fucking miserable over there.
Tell you what, they don't have as a nanny anymore.
Yeah, they don't have a nanny, and they ain't getting one anytime soon. Let me tell you, they're getting a gay dude.
That's true. The next nanny's definitely gonna be
or you're
gay.
getting like a 70-year-old woman. You're not getting the fucking young nanny.
The hot nanny's almost out of the question. I bet you if you are a wife, you're almost smart to just like any nanny that comes to the door, you are smart to just be like, too hot, next.
Yeah, too hot.
But if you are a hot nanny, there's probably better jobs available for you, like being a bartender.
Sure, but like sometimes they don't. It's a daytime gig. Like maybe they want to be a nanny, Or
if you're smoking hot though, there's so much more money available for you. But I guess maybe you're smoking hotness, you get the top tier dude nanny, and he's giving you like 70 grand a year, and you're working 3 days a week.
yeah, like we know comics who are nannies, and they say it's a pretty easy gig.
It is an easy gig, and you just get to do the work, especially if you're taking them to school and stuff like that.
This guy's. I don't know what this dude's thinking. It's almost like he wants to get caught.
He definitely has just a death
He
wish.
probably is not pumped about the fact that this is in the New York Post, though. That's for sure.
Oh my God, his life's screwed.
Yeah.
His real name got used.
Yeah, I know. That is crazy. That is just like
Jason Cooperman,
Yeah.
43.
the Coop.
Cooper. Cooperino. Well, that was one.
And then he put out this like really good apology thing, but you feel it's a very sleazy one though.
He did the apology where he basically said, "Didn't do it. She's a complete liar, but I will."
But he also
think a lot about my actions.
And it's important to believe all women, but in this instance, don't.
And he also said,
important.
you know, if I am making women feel something, even though I didn't do anything, that's my favorite one is the apology where you're like, I actually did nothing wrong, but if she feels I did, I can think about myself, even though I'm completely innocent, like straddling the line of like apologizing and not apologizing.
The top comment on New York Post, this is about his apology, because this is apology says, and as a father to a daughter myself, I fully support equality and our shared social responsibilities. Although these allegations are untrue, I'll take this as an opportunity for reflection on how I can pursue a more active role in working to make our society better for my daughter's future, he said. And then
but like, why would you say that if you didn't do anything wrong?
Of course. And then someone's comment, they go, guaranteed this guy votes 100% Democrat, and like 1,000 likes.
But it really is like, it seems like a dumb move because you're like, if you didn't do it, then why are you saying that?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's like the most, I guess, like political answer is you go, yeah, you know, believe all women except this one time, but maybe I made an error, but you know.
Except this specific one, you're going to want to, yeah, but generally 99% of the time, but for sure you want to support them. Yeah, exactly. Well, and there's another one. We hired a hot teenage babysitter and my husband slept with her.
Nice.
And you know what? This is a little sleazy on the articles, to be completely honest. Because when you say teenage,
yeah, you think it's underage.
Yeah, because they're like, I hired
she was still 18. Still,
well, what if it was 19?
For sure. Yeah, and the thing is, that was like when they were in their. It sounds like he was in his 20s.
Exactly.
Because they're but more importantly, they're
I think when you say teenager, when you're talking about it, like having sex with someone, they should just say the actual age.
Yeah.
Just say it was a 17-year-old or a 9-year-old because it's a world of difference.
Yeah.
13 and 19, you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is
Gwen Stefani, Jennifer Garner, two people, famous women that their husbands had involved with the nannies.
Yeah.
And then the Kennedys one. It's like very common.
It happens. I mean, you bring a.
I think what we're saying is we need nannies.
Yeah, watch out.
So nannies just know that smashing the dudes. Like if you don't want to date a nanny because she's a good chance she's getting smashed.
Yeah, but also like, yeah, I mean, it's more just like chicks, watch out. Don't get a nanny you think your husband might leave you for. That seems like an easy one.
The whole thing's a bit sketchy.
Yeah. It's like almost in the nanny world, it's like the more desirable ones are the uggos.
The nanny world, the uglier, the more the wife's going to want you.
Yeah, the more the wife, if she's smart, will want you. And if she falls for the fact that you're super hot, that's just a big mistake.
You almost need to like really dress down when you're going for your nanny position. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to look gross.
If you're a wife and you hire a hot nanny, you had it coming.
Yeah.
Lauren Weedman, good name, knows it all too well. The actress has been with her husband, David, for 11 years. She found out evidence his affair with a teenage babysitter. She should show up and then she goes, the nanny would show up in short, low-cut tops and miniskirts, but I thought it was just because girls are too overly sexualized in Southern California. When a friend of mine told me that she'd spotted them together in the street, and I assumed they were just discussing her career.
Yeah, because they're all in the entertainment biz. This is just all sick entertainment people. It's all
Take your Hollywood husband, like 45-year-old Hollywood husband, just took a huge interest in this hot 19-year-old's career.
Yeah, her career. He goes, I can really give you some pointers with your career.
Definitely. He says, you keep telling me you're happier than you'd ever been in your life being a stay-at-home dad. So this guy used to be like a screenwriter and now he's like a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
But you seem so unhappy, at least with me. I can't take it anymore. Listen, David, if you're not happy, if you don't want to be married, then let's split. We'll be co-parents. And then the guy said, yes, we should split. And then this is before that she found out that he'd been banging the nanny the whole time.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Did you see this guy's apology?
No.
It's even better.
Oh, he had an apology? No,
not his apology, but his rebuttal.
Yeah, what was his rebuttal?
Okay, they're screenwriters, right?
Yeah.
And this guy he used to be an actor. And then she goes, this is what David said when they reached him for comment.
Oh, I did. Yeah, his comment.
Loved it. He goes, the thing is, I would say Lauren is a writer and a storyteller. Like she likes to combine truth with fiction, and her way of getting to a deeper truth. By the way, he's talking about his article.
The article written by the girl.
Yeah, but like her art is her New York Post article.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Her storytelling.
She likes to combine truth with fiction, but like, so basically she's saying, she wrote this article about her husband banging all these people, and they reached out to the husband, and she goes, honestly, her art is something that I respect. She's such a good storyteller.
Such an active imagination.
Such an active imagination. Honestly, and she goes, so are you saying it's not true? He goes, I don't want to interfere with her art right now, because you know what? That's for her. Her art is for her to tell, and it's a mix of fiction and truth, and I love her for that. Love that for her. The fact that she's just out there saying whatever she wants to say, whether it's true, whether it's false, and I've encouraged her to do that.
Also, he's still smashing the nanny.
Still?
Yeah, he's a couple. He's with the nanny now. So he has like the ultimate like happy ending where he's like, yeah, I'm with this smoking hot nanny as my girlfriend now. Ditch the old wife who's like pain in my ass and crazy.
I respect her work, and I've collaborated with her on several projects, implying that maybe even this one was a collabo between the two of us. And I support her work as best I can. These Hollywood guys have the like support women lingo down to a science.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to.
It makes no sense for me to say what's true and what's not, although I do believe that's what's great about her work. The book is about her truth, and it's not a documentary. Even though we were not able to remain partners, we have found a way to be great parents of my son, and I'm very grateful for that, and that's the only thing that matters. This is after she wrote a public article about how you're a fucking hound banging the nanny. Honestly,
yeah, when reached for comment, he goes, oh, what an active imagination she's got.
But more importantly, the active imagination part, but like acting like he's happy for her.
Yeah, she's so pumped that he's like,
he's just so pumped that she's getting her story out there.
Yeah, and she's also, the ex-wife is trying to say that she's happy that he's just like, that she's out of the relationship and that he's with the nanny.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
yeah,
this is
are you really?
This is him gritting through his teeth for sure, too. Where he's like, honestly, just great article. She's such a good writer. I wish her the best. I hope this article goes viral. That would be great for her.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's like, yeah, but I'm still fucking smashing the hot nanny.
It is something where
everybody's getting.
Well, it's almost better because he's like, it almost is better to smash the nanny eventually, because then you go, you're a dog. You go, I'm not a dog. I was in love with her.
Yeah.
We were in love.
Well, yeah, exactly. You just say, no, this is a real relationship. And
I'm a dog. How about I was in love?
He goes, I found my forever wife.
Yeah. The people in the Discord sent this article. I drink semen smoothies and I use it as my face cream. I never get sick and my skin's better than ever.
All right. I haven't had any of those.
Well, this is another thing. The reason why it's funny is because she's a mom, and you have just having your mom writing it. Dude, can you imagine in high school, you had an article, one of your friends' moms is putting semen on her face and drinking semen smoothies.
Fucking goddamn nut.
Hey, Terry, we got a semen smoothie for your mom over here.
These women are just...
They're really losing their minds.
They're really losing their minds. Like, you would think, in what fucking world?
I would never have predicted like 20 years ago that'd be like a fairly average thing to do for like a mom to have a TikTok channel about how she drinks cum.
In smoothies? Who's... Ugh, disgusting.
It's very gross. It's yucky. On her bizarre beverage concoction, she says, I'd been feeling run down and had no energy, but I'm full of beans and my mood is improved. So she's very like fun lingo about the whole thing.
Yeah.
It can also taste good depending on where it's been and what my mate's been eating. So she's got basically a body that gives her the cum.
No, I guess mate would be not in the British sense there. That would be her partner.
In the British, yeah. In her
That'd be insane if her buddy is just...
It is.
Oh, it's not fucking mate as in her life mate?
No, sir.
Jesus Christ.
No, sir. I know he's healthy. He doesn't smoke, drink, or do drugs. And I made him get an STI check. She just has a dude. She has a dealer.
That's fucking insane. How did she get it in bulk, or she gets like one at a time, or?
So she's actually, this is with the kind of stuff that she covers on her channel. This is the kind of stuff that someone's
1.2 million followers on Instagram.
This is the kind of stuff that someone's mom right now covers on the internet. How to meet someone, how to get the cum. I don't know. When you get your cum that you drink, what do you do?
Just make it myself.
Danny, you're a big cum drinker.
This chick looks mad unhinged too, looking at photos of her.
Well, you guzzle yours probably more than
I
her.
just chug it. I like to get like like when people who are trying to drink a lot of water and then they carry around those like gallon jugs. I have one of those.
Is there anything worse though than your mom? What would you pay if right now your mom was going to start a channel? What would you pay to stop that? And I'm not saying like hypothetically. I'm saying like real world right now. Someone said to you,
like 50 grand at least, or I'd just stab my eyes out. I threatened to kill myself to my mom. I'd be like, if you do this, I'm killing myself.
and it'd be less worse now than it was when you were a kid, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Although now it'd be bad because you have you're a public figure, so
it would not be
worse
great.
now.
Yeah, it would be bad all around. I would not want my mom to be posting her semen smoothie recipes.
This goes for your crazy to beach ratio too, where you go, this is the final spectrum on the crazy to beach scale. She's literally just like drinking cum recreationally.
Yeah, recreational cum drinkage for health.
So she has a buddy that she goes to, and she meets up with him, and he puts it in a bag, I guess, and then she takes her bag of the fucking.
So she mixes the sperm with egg whites and lavender oil and leaves it on her face for 15
everything
minutes.
about this is like, imagine dating this girl after, where you go, this is your new girl, and you go, the girl who drinks the guy's cum, and she goes, so she's still drinking his cum? And she goes, yeah, she still does drink.
Well, you imagine you get in there thinking like, well, I'll be where she gets it from now on. And she goes, no.
You're not healthy enough.
No, she goes, I still like his better.
So you're literally dating a girl that's meeting up with a guy in an alleyway to get a friggin' cum injection. Get her meat injection.
Chicks are fucking insane.
Tracy's a qualified nutritional advisor and personal trainer, and she says she keeps it in her fridge. It's an awesome product.
Just an awesome product.
The health
Really.
benefits have been well researched. I don't think it's been well researched.
I don't think it's been any researched.
She's saying it's been well researched by her. That's the kind of thing, hey, buddy, your girlfriend's a friggin' cum researcher, I'll tell you what. And men should take advantage of it, particularly as it's made by our own bodies and doesn't contain numbers and chemicals. Yeah, so, yes, but it also probably doesn't contain anything that's healthy.
Yeah. It's not for skin care.
Protein. So she's not only drinking it, she's putting it all over her face. Like, that is a real cum slut.
Yeah. Yeah. And who would see this and be like, I want to sign up for her training, her personal training, this chick who drinks jizz.
This woman's really...
Just get an OnlyFans. Like, I hope this is all just so she can have an OnlyFans, and this is like all just dancing around this fact.
This woman's really not doing it for me. I got to tell you what.
No.
This is what the things, when they do their new Tinder things, they should have to put that in their bio too. Be like, hey, do you put cum on your face recreationally and have a YouTube channel where you do that?
Yeah, what relationship status is that?
So speaking of sexual topics, Russian mercenaries have been advertising on Pornhub, which is like pretty funny.
Very interesting. Pornhub got sold too. I don't know if you saw that.
No, what happened?
But apparently, a lot of people are up in arms because this private equity company bought Pornhub, which is,
I did see
and
this.
then it's like, but they're like, it's totally fake. Like they just made their own, like they basically made some fake private equity company to buy their company because, like, I guess they're under a lot of scrutiny or something. So
I don't get it.
I don't know what the actual reason for, like, what they get out of it, but everybody's trying to say like, oh, they sold it to this private equity company, and then like private equity company is just recently formed, and like nobody there has ever worked at a private equity company before, so it's some sort of wash sale, I think, to just change the owners to like maybe avoid some sort of liability, like lawsuits or something. I don't know exactly.
What the hell?
Like it's almost like they sold it to a shell company. So that
I thought that I saw someone that was like, I thought I saw someone saying that it was like, oh, one of these companies that that says they're for all this like positive stuff.
Well, they're called
too.
they're called like a Canadian private equity firm called Ethical Capital Partners bought Pornhub.
That was the part that I saw.
Yeah, but then like they're saying essentially like Ethical Capital Partners, like nobody there has ever worked in like banking. Like they have their whole list of people, and it's like just totally sketchy.
So everyone's like, what is this?
Yeah, it's just like there's some sort of reason behind it that I guess is unclear maybe to us.
Do you know what I was interesting that I was, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Yeah.
Like I listen to that guy every now and then. He's like, it's pretty kind of like a little too like
Is that the Kiyosaki
old people
guy?
for me. Yeah. But every now and then they have
Yeah.
good stuff, and I kind of like you. I'm like, I told you I'll listen to it because I want to be like a real estate mogul. I do none of it, but
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of like listening to a fitness channel and then not working out. It's a little bit of what I do with that. That's
I feel like if you'll eventually do it, then
That's what I'm telling myself. But in the meantime, it's like I'm the guy listening to someone tell you how to get pussy, but I'm a virgin.
right, yeah.
But the moral of the story is they had some guy on that was like probably whatever, like a super libertarian type dude or whatever, but more of like a tech business guy than that, I guess. But his whole thing was he's like huge on the American dollar, getting like smoked. And he was basically, his whole thing is he's like, dude, it's over. Like the idea of, he's like, all of those Africa companies, they call it BRICS, which is like, do you know what that is?
Like Brazil, Russia,
Yeah.
India, China. Yeah,
China.
Yeah, there's just like a block of emerging nations or whatever.
But the whole deal with the whole thing is that they're, you know, like the America keeps like devaluing their currencies over and over and over again. And then basically like, hey, why don't we just like not use America? I mean, basically like the thing that you've been saying on this podcast for a long time is that, well, they can't because America's the reserve currency.
Yeah, they're trying to make.
They're basically saying like, yeah, well, we're
lots
just
of countries want to be the reserve currency. Like Russia would love, or not Russia, probably, but China would love for the yuan to be the reserve currency.
But there's not going to be the yuan. It's going to be like a euro situation,
or a euro. Yeah, if they have their own currency.
But if they all decide to use it, and then essentially how it's working is they have like a blockchain that they all have like certain commodities on this like blockchain, and basically they pledge to like put all these like commodities. They're basically they pledge to essentially have all these things like as part of their cartel or whatever.
Yeah.
That are all going to be traded. That's what it is. They essentially say like all of these items have to be traded in this currency.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Because they
basically
are
what
huge,
oil is.
Yeah, they are huge commodity exporters. Yeah. Because oil's in U.S. dollars, exactly.
Well, do you think that we moved here for the last breath of America, or do you think have you changed at all in the last 4 years? Or are you still completely like bullish on America, like all this is bullshit?
I feel like I don't know. To say like this is the end of America or whatever, it's just has consistently been
not end of America
or end of their dominance or whatever. Ray Dalio, who's like pretty smart dude, and he seems to think this is kind of like the start of the end for America as like this superpower, and this is like
everyone that's smart seems to be saying
all
this.
throughout history, and it's possible, yeah, that they make so many.
But your take has been like sort of the opposite of that for a pretty long time.
Well, it could still like when people say this is the start of the end, it could still like we could die and it's still. They're still the superpower
for 100 years.
Yeah, like maybe in 500. I don't know. It's so hard to predict, but generally betting against America.
But there's never in a long time been a superpower that like wasn't English. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Betting against America has been a bad bet, but who knows what the future holds.
It just seems like they do so many crazy things. I mean, everyone else screwed up like all the COVID stuff and all the other shit too. It's like it wasn't like a sole country that like printed tons of money and did all this crazy stuff there.
Yeah,
I guess. But it's like it seems like it's just all happening at the same time or whatever, and it does seem like a pretty good time for other countries to sort of make their moves.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know how like the unwind happens though, where all those countries like move away from U.S. dollars.
Well, it's all about the oil. Like if it's all about like picking a commodity that trades in that. This guy was saying that he goes, I should have voted for Biden because I trade oil, and he was like, literally, Biden went and made all these stupid decisions. I was selling oil for 10 times the price.
Yeah. I don't. Fuck, man. That's such a hard one to pick, but it's possible that they'll devalue the dollar. I mean, inflation.
Well, that's already happening.
I mean, it is happening, and inflation's cranking. But
I have money in cash. What would you do it if you were me?
Money in cash depends what your time frame is.
I don't know either.
Well, if you had a really long time frame, I would still just buy all the great American companies. Like if you're talking 20 years or some shit.
What if you're talking 5 years?
5 years? I mean, man, there's a lot of like government treasuries that pay like a little less
stuff
right
like
now.
that?
I haven't bought any government treasuries, no, but there are a lot of them that are paying like there were like 1 year T-bills that paid like 5%, which is pretty good for risk-free.
Hey, can you put
but
your
you
money...
can only put up to 10 grand, I think.
Last question, because this topic's maybe getting boring for people, but like, can you put your money in a savings account that actually accrues money, or is that like not possible? It always has to be locked away for a while.
A savings account that accrues money, like interest, you're saying?
That's actually real interest that isn't just like that you put it in a savings.
That's not locked into like a T-bill?
Yeah.
Like where you usually have to pledge it for some period of time.
Okay.
If you have it like not pledged for any period of time, yes, but it's be like nothing.
That's what I thought, because I was arguing with someone, like they were telling me that you can just put in a savings account, and I was arguing that like that's no really such thing.
There is, but like you're maybe 1% or 2%, maybe like nothing.
100 grand, I'll make you $600,
2,000 in a year, maybe. But
better nothing,
I don't know if you
guess.
have to lock it up. How much you have to lock it up? But yeah, it's better than nothing. And then if you think there's inflation and like your 100 grand at the end,
Well, if you're locking it up, there's
worth
better things to
less than
lock it up in than a savings account.
Yeah, you can do T-bills, but I think you can only buy 10,000 at a time.
So the Russian mercenary company, Basically, they're advertising on Pornhub, and basically they're legitimate commercials were like, "Don't whack off, go to work."
Yeah.
And
Go work for a Russian mercenary and go fight the Ukrainians. It's the Wagner Group.
yeah, isn't that hilarious? Dude, the idea of you like watching porn and the advertisement comes out like, what are you doing? What are you stroking your dick? Come fucking fight with us.
Yeah, the U.S. Army they are
It's the right guys though. They're like, if you're doing like 16, if you're looking at like 18-year-old guys that like don't have a wife or anything like that, and they're just like jacking off all day, that's the exact prime
probably where you
demographic.
want to find them. Yeah, I mean the U.S. military. I bet if they could, because they advertise everywhere. I bet if they could advertise on porn websites, they would.
It's like almost a good idea. Pornhub eventually shut it down.
Yeah, Pornhub shut it down.
But they basically, the whole deal was they were like, they always pitch the military like, hey, you know, you want to come hang with the boy. Like they pitch it like it's super fun.
Yeah. Just a good old time with the boys.
I got Kurt Metzger has that joke where it was about, it was like they're giving free jobs as a greeter to Walmart for people that are in the army. And he's like, I'm not saying that's bad of him, but it's like, just seems like a long way to go to get a job as a greeter at Walmart. He's like, you know how else you get a greeter at Walmart job? Just like applying for as a greeter at Walmart.
Yeah, yeah, you go, this is kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, you're just like, imagine doing that whole thing and your pot of gold at the end of it is you get to be a greeter at Walmart. In the Russian language ad, a blonde woman with red lipstick sucked on a lollipop while a woman's voice urged men to stop masturbating. Instead, join the coolest army in the world.
Nothing cooler.
Yeah, but I was loving that.
Yeah, that was all fucking wild. They tried to do that. I'm sure Pornhub made a grip of cash on that before turning that down or turn it off.
They have stupid ads on those sites.
Yeah,
because they can't get any real ones.
Yeah, they can't get another.
Why can't they get real ones?
Well, because fucking I don't know. Clorox doesn't want to be advertising on Pornhub.
Why not?
Because it's crazy. I don't know. They're like brand. I don't know. I'm
okay,
sure
but what if you were like
all
some
like sex
progressive?
brands.
But if you're like some progressive company, like,
and then you know what? And then like, what happens if your ad ends up on like a fucking thing that ends up being like child porn or something like they're just like too spicy, way too spicy.
having a cookie.
Yeah, Ryan's eating a cookie. In case you can't hear it at home.
Up to Danny.
What's that? Oh, to hold it. Oh, Ryan's eating a cookie right now. Just decide mid-show to just have a cookie. So then
Shouldn't be that much of a big ask for Danny to hold it down for 30 seconds. He was really struggling on that one.
Well, we were kind of in the middle of a topic.
No, that was the end of the Russian porn topic.
All right. End of the Russian porn topic. On to the cookies.
How was
it?
Shouldn't have been that big of an ask, but that really did struggle. It was Garth and Wayne's World.
I kind of was like, is this going to be like a pause that's getting edited out or something?
No, it's Garth and Wayne's World where he does the show by himself. Yeah. That was you. Party time.
All right.
Excellent.
Party time. Excellent.
No. So we did an article similar to this years ago, or last year.
Yeah.
But this one, the guy was funnier because of the way he talks. But he goes, I'm not attracted to my wife anymore because she gained weight, right? But the reason why this one's funnier is because of the way he talks. He goes, I look at my wife and I can't see past her double chin. I want to see past the double chin. Lord knows I tried to see past.
Lord knows I tried to see past the double chin.
But it's like a mark on a clean shirt. Once you see it, you can't ignore it. It's there. So this guy's like, his whole deal is he's really feeling guilty that, because he sort of buys into the stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's like, my programming,
I'm wrong for this.
I'm wrong for this.
Yeah, like, please, I just wish I could not be like this.
And that's sort of the purpose of this whole thing, is him being like, I'm so sorry, women, but my programming is screwing me. And he's having sort of an internal battle.
He has internalized misogyny is the problem.
He has internalized everything, exactly. Internalized patriarchy. And he's having sort of the battle between the man he knows he should be and the man that he is.
He's basically dating Fat Bastard, too. This is the best line. He goes, my wife gained weight because she started to drink, and she started to drink because she was unhappy. And now she's unhappy because she gained weight. You're like, you're literally dating Fat Bastard. I read that. I was like, this is a fucking joke.
That's what he's probably trying so hard, like just looking at like fat, like downloading all these like fat porns and just watching them and just being like, you like this, you freaking like this.
I don't like this.
She's definitely busting through the door Kool-Aid Man style, and he's like, that's nothing wrong with that. We'll get that fixed. That's
more cushion for my pushing when I do pushing later.
I
love pushing.
It's cushion is my
cushion.
favorite thing, and every man should like cushion. The cushion. In the past 3 years, my wife has gone from a size 10, 11 to a size 10, 12 to a size 18. That's a 40% up.
It's a big ins.
My guess would be his girl probably got involved with some of the new stuff online.
The body positivity.
It's a consistent law.
Yeah.
There's only two options. Like one is she just was always supposed to be big.
Yep.
And it was just, you know what I mean? She had a slight period where he met her where she was like skinny.
Yeah.
And this is actually her natural state.
And this isn't from kids either, right? This is not a kid scenario.
What do you? Oh, no.
No, like she didn't get big from kids. She just got big from just chilling. And
No one chooses to gain weight. That's where I sort of disagree. He goes, there's no U-turn in sight. That's his best line. He goes, and there's no U-turn in sight. Only a U-Haul in sight.
only a U-Haul to get her out of our fucking apartment.
There's no U-Haul in sight. Only a U-Haul attached to a helicopter.
That's a bummer. Yeah, I mean, he probably is in one of these things where he's like, I've tried to kind of steer her in that direction, and then it's just like, yeah, she chose the fat side.
Yeah, I don't even think he tried to steer her because his take has been like, there's nothing wrong with this. This is perfectly right.
Yeah.
I'm the problem.
I mean, if he's writing for your tango, yeah. He's probably just like...
That's what I mean.
He needs a lobotomy.
He needs a lobotomy. And I love the new guy that's just like doing his best to try to be on board with all the things, but like his biology is like, but you don't like this. It's the guy that it's like having trouble. His wife's banging another guy, and he's like, why am I feeling weird about this?
Yeah.
And the same way as this one.
I mean, I don't understand what the purpose of... you know what I also don't get is what is even the purpose of writing these pseudo-anonymously? Like, so you're like a writer, but like...
He's getting it off his chest a little bit.
To get it off his chest.
But he doesn't want anyone to know that he's like fat phobic like this, right?
Maybe he's hoping his wife reads this, like...
Someone else...
And then she goes like, oh...
Yeah, someone else is struggling with the same
maybe
article.
my husband isn't into me. Maybe I should try and lose some weight for him.
Maybe
but that woman would probably be like, fuck him.
This is yeah, exactly. What do you mean? Well, you have a problem with the way that I look?
Yeah, it's not working out.
I don't care if this sounds shallow, but I do. I hate... So this guy...
But I do.
I don't care if she's 10,000 pounds, but I do.
Sounds like he's also a little bit of fat bastard problem. They're all fat bastards.
Why is he fat bastard?
Because he's doing that circular logic thing too, where he's like, I don't care, but I do.
But I do care. I love her. She's beautiful, but I don't think she's beautiful. He's lashing himself. So this guy's going through it.
Yeah.
It's like all this guy. It's like some of these guys feel like they don't have like a single friend in their life to be like, yeah, pretty reasonable that you don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what do you do? It's the Ginny Sack thing, right?
What's Ginny Sack?
In The Sopranos, where Johnny Sack's wife was like huge, but he loved her. Like he was like the only one who didn't have a problem with it. Everybody else clowned him for it.
Well, maybe he did have a problem with it.
No, he didn't.
Well, he was a character.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I'm not saying there's no one. Yeah, there's some people that like it.
Some people for sure.
I hate myself for feeling like this. I hate myself for not being bigger than this. I hate myself for letting it get to this. What does that part mean? He let it get to this.
To the point of writing the article, I guess.
But the point, does he hate himself for it let it to get himself where he himself like this fat phobic, or let his wife get big? Because that seems like
not let the wife get big, because I don't think that's up to him. I think it's more to the point where he's fat phobic.
My wife deserves better than me. I wish I could be the man she thought she married, but I'm not. I'm me.
What the fuck?
I love this guy, right?
Yeah.
He goes,
This guy stinks.
I wish I could be someone better, but unfortunately, I'm just
me.
Yeah, I am just me, and my wife is a nightmare. I am just me.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Couldn't think of a weight reference.
No.
I got it.
Let's still think it.
I am just me.
Yeah.
Our food bill's a nightmare.
Food bill's a nightmare. Yeah, it sucks for this dude.
There is only room for her to be alone in the room.
It's weird they linked to a YouTube video that has this question, but it's not.
I'm trying to forget what she looks like, but I never
So you think
want to do her again.
So you think he's still having sex with the wife or what?
I think what's happening is he's going to support groups with other men, the big wife support group.
Big wife support group.
Hi, my name's Ryan. Married
Why
4
can't you do
years.
that?
80 pounds is what she put on. Don't like it.
You go, hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Welcome to the troop.
Yeah.
My name's John.
Hey, John.
Big wife.
Ooh, imagine me, but 5 of them. You go, ooh. They're all just fucking.
My name's
hugging each
John.
other.
Here's a picture of her. Like folds out
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it needs to see the full thing.
The full.
This is just the top because the other chins couldn't fit on the thing. She's a big girl. Don't love it.
Don't love it.
Welcome, John. Admitting it's the first step. Dave here. Real fat.
A real big girl.
Everyone hugs
just
them.
stirring their coffees on their fucking metal chairs.
They're all stirring their coffees in the metal chairs. Everyone giving each other hugs. He goes, feels
They all
nice.
show the before pictures
Feels-
too. Everybody's like,
Feels nice to be able to put my arms around someone for once. Definitely, they all have they have the before and after pictures on their like chair.
yeah, this is what she used to look like. This is what she looks like now. Everybody's like, oh man,
Oh no!
God.
Oh God! Put that away! Put that away! Yesterday, we went to dinner. I have a good job, and the bill came. I couldn't afford that bill. I'm a doctor.
Make $750,000 a year. It's getting bad. It's getting real bad.
I realized there was no money in my account to afford that dinner bill. I'm a surgeon. I'm currently a surgeon.
Currently an actual surgeon.
I'm a surgeon at Mount Sinai Hospital. But what surgery I couldn't perform was surgically paying for that bill with this credit card because we're maxed out.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, John.
Sorry, Jono.
My name's Tommy. Missing a finger, as you can see.
I didn't lose it at work. She ate it. I was feeding her strawberries.
It was a strawberry mistake.
Bit off my goddamn finger.
And if you believe that, you're stupid in this. She is fat 'cause she hasn't even looked at a strawberry in 10 years. She hasn't so much as looked at a strawberry. She puts strawberries on her body and then covers them in whipped cream and then throws out the strawberries and eats the whipped cream can. She eats the can. She ate the can.
She ate the can.
She ate the can, okay? Sorry, John.
Sorry, buddy.
My wife deserves better than me. I wish I could be the man she thought she married, but I'm not. I'm just me.
Yeah, but she's not the woman that you married.
And I'm
She's two of them.
trying. Yeah, exactly. To put my arms around her, and I never gonna
Sing
pick her
it.
up again. So this is
That's too bad.
she's fat. How about that? By now, the original reasons seem to have dissipated. It's sort of a chicken and egg situation. This guy likes being poetic.
Yeah.
My wife gained weight because she started to drink. That's the thing you said. I'm not blameless in all this. He considers himself to blame. I'm sure I've contributed to her unhappiness, but most of her unhappiness has been related to external forces. Work, friends, family. And her favorite restaurant's starting to close at 7 p.m. It hasn't been easy.
It's not been easy.
A lot of her work, a lot of her unhappiness has been related to some external forces. Those external forces include the price of pork going up.
Feed prices. Inflation in general. Not her inflation. External inflation, which has caused her inflation.
Also, what's the inflation that they put less in the box? Shrinkflation.
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 She's not a victim of shrinkflation.
No, shrinkflation is one of her gripes.
is. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of the reasons she's unhappy.
Yeah.
She's getting 20% less chips, Daniel.
Well, he's probably
Comes
not,
in crying.
He's probably not too upset about
It's
that.
supposed to be a full bag. Well, I'm unhappy now that I eat. Fibromyalgia article.
Fibromyalgia's back in the news.
Fibromyalgia's back in the news. So this one's pretty good.
This
Fibromyalgia.
one's for the ladies.
This one's for the ladies.
Although we did have somebody, I believe we talked about fibromyalgia, and someone who listens to the show said that they had fibromyalgia, and it was
My take.
and it was genetic. It was a guy. And it was
See,
genetic.
my take on fibromyalgia isn't so much that no one
Yeah,
possibly has
for
it.
sure.
My take on fibromyalgia is I bet you 60% of the people that say they have it don't.
Agreed.
It's the same as my long COVID thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay, it's
That's
just
why
a
it's the new long COVID.
It's the same as anything. When you say, hey, there's this disease where you're in pain, we can't test the pain. There's no way for us to prove whether you have it or not.
And pain is subjective on its own.
Lo and behold, people are going to start to say that they have it
Yes.
to get out of things,
Sure.
right? So it's like anytime you give people a catch-all, lo and behold,
Yeah.
it's just like that in any sort of walk of life. It's
Yeah.
that's just the mechanics of human beings. That's what we call market forces.
Sure.
You go, there's a percentage of people that are always looking for sympathy, lazy, and then you give them fibromyalgia is just the perfect thing for them.
Yeah. Could not be better.
So maybe this girl has it, maybe it doesn't, but we can.
Maybe this. Well, it sounds like she might. Maybe
But also,
have it.
you could say it's way worse than it is, right?
She carries a cane, so we'll give it to her.
A lot of people are just like unhealthy, and you know, your fibromyalgia might be the fact that you're like completely unhealthy and out of shape and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you do feel way worse when you have all that
cause.
sort of stuff happening, right?
Absolutely.
But she's done an article about how she dates with fibromyalgia. So whether it's real or not, it's pretty fun. For a while, I was sleeping with a friend who also has chronic pain. It brought us closer together, she explains. So basically, this
They met on pain date.
Pinder.
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 Yeah, the Pinder sounds like more like an Indian.
Like an
dating site.
Indian dating site. Pinder.
Pinder is though you only just type in your bob size. But the funny part about the guy is when I picture a girl saying like, hey, she's dating this guy who also has chronic pain. That sounds like a guy. She's like, I'm just in pain also. And the guy being like, that's crazy.
That's so crazy.
Oh my God. It sounds to me like a guy's
And also.
a guy claiming that he has fibromyalgia to smash. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Guys would never lie about that kind of thing.
Never. So the girl basically has her thing where she's like, I'm having trouble dating someone that doesn't have fibromyalgia. So I guess you should just leave. And the guy goes, that's wild that you say that. Did you just say Did you just say you're looking for someone that has fibromyalgia and that's who you want to have sex with?
Yeah. And you only want it to be like a casual and no strings attached thing because you can't really date. He goes,
Are you messing with me right now?
I'm that guy.
Oh my, ow.
I'm available once a month for sex. That's crazy.
No, she goes like, she's like, I'm just having trouble dating anyone else that's not in chronic pain, doesn't have fibromyalgia. And the guy just goes, ouch.
Ouch. What was that? Because I just had some pain. I don't even know where, but somewhere.
And I got one word for you. Ouch.
Ouch.
Ooh, ow. Ouchie. So you want to get started on this banging? Let
Yeah.
the banging commence?
It's going to hurt too.
This guy understood her issues with having a full-on relationship right away might be tough. Yeah, you're right. It is that.
Yeah.
Girls being like, obviously because of my pain issues that I can't be in a relationship. And the guy's like, I was just thinking the same thing about my pain issues.
Yeah.
And then she might need time to recover after sex. So she's not going to be like bugging you or anything after sex or anything like that.
No.
You're going to have to, after sex, you're probably going to both have to, you know,
Take your side.
potentially even you go to the other room and not, you know, no cuddling or nothing like that because she's going to be in recovery mode. And the guy goes, I was taking the words out of my mouth, sister. We would text from our respective beds and laugh about it. That meant, so basically this guy would come and bang her and then he would go in a different bed after the sex. So this guy's living the life.
Yeah, living life. This guy's the man.
That meant the whole thing wasn't centered around the pain itself, but just the experiences we were having together. Eventually, she ended up matching with a former classmate, the guy that didn't know much about chronic illness, but he really cared about her and made a point to adapt to her life. For example, if I tell him I'm not feeling well or I have to cancel a date last minute, he never doubts me or asks me to justify things. She says, it's huge weight off my back. It's really hard to spend all the time with someone who works so much. Seeing that really rubs my nose in the fact that I'm disabled.
I mean, she does have a cane. But yeah, that's so crazy where you're like, yeah, it's just seeing anybody. Thanks for rubbing my nose in it, huh?
So she's sort of lazing around the house all day with her cane, and she can't work. And then the guy's basically, I got to go to work, and she's like, oh.
Yeah, even though he's like very supportive of all your shit, and just the act of he goes, well, I mean, one of us surely has to. And she goes, oh, why does one of us have to work, huh?
You know that joke that a lot of people make that you're like, you can be in a wheelchair and still be an asshole?
Yeah.
Like you can still be a nightmare bitch just because you have fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, and then, if you're at a point where like you're like I'm having my nose rubbed in it because the guy's going to work, it was like, yeah, maybe you're kind of got a crazy value system.
Yeah. Also, don't you want him to support you because you can't work?
Well, I think probably my guess would be parents or government. My guess is there's like 24-year-old and parent.
This is like government should take care of both. No, she's 31, but I should be like,
You don't think parents potentially though?
Maybe, but I think in her mind to make her feel the most about this scenario, she should be like, no, it's just like.
Does government give you a ton of money on fibromyalgia?
No.
So she's what? Just
I'm
on
just
welfare?
saying in the like utopia kind of
utopia.
scenario, it's like he doesn't work either to not rub it in my face.
But I would bet you that like if you do a Venn diagram of people whose parents support them fully,
Yeah.
and people that have fibromyalgia, it's a circle.
Yeah, there's that too.
It's really hard to spend all my time with someone who works so much. It just rubs my nose in it. And the fact that Vanderblock can't work also means she doesn't have the financial resources to do what she wants with her partner. So I let him pay for things. She lets him pay for things. So she's got this guy, doesn't care.
That's nice of her.
That's super nice of her.
Yeah.
So she doesn't give two shits. Like this guy, when she cancels on him, he's just cool with it. And then on top of that, she doesn't like it when he works, but he does want her to pay for everything.
Ideally, yes.
Doesn't want him to work, but she does want him to pay for everything.
Yeah.
And I try to contribute in other ways. I don't know if you read this far, but are you ready for the ways that she contributes in?
Yeah.
She says, for example, I have friends who work for different clubs, so I try to get them in for free.
Oh, yeah. That was the one thing, is because they like to club. That's the funny issue.
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, she likes to club.
Fibro's not too bad when the clubbing's coming.
She likes to go clubbing, and what she can do is get him into the club for free.
I mean, that is some kind of contribution there.
Are you kidding me? I'd be like, yeah, I didn't want to go to the club, you idiot. Are you messing with me? If I was in with a girl and we were having a conversation about who contributes, and I was like, listen, I pay for everything. I always put up with your stuff. I never complain about any of this stuff. And she was like, oh, and I don't do anything. That time I went, got you to the club with my friends.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, yeah, I still end up having to spend $400 at the other night, even with our free admission to the club.
Even with our free admission, I still paid for everything all night long. And on top of that, you banged the bouncer. So I didn't love that either. Your ex-boyfriend getting us in.
You let him put the cane inside of you. That was not cool.
This girl's living the dream.
Yeah. Yeah, she is.
She is actually living the dream, though.
Well, not if you ask her, but you know, what are you going to do? She has the fibro affliction.
So that would to me be like that's the classic where like I have fibromyalgia, I can't do anything. I can't even go to work. We're going clubbing Friday, but
yeah.
After that,
Friday and Saturday, and then maybe Sunday. But I can't go to
Friday and Saturday. I'm definitely going club hopping. We got the whole squad together. I'm such a club hopper that I have bouncers on my payroll. Like me and bouncers are pretty close because I'm there so often. When I hit the dance floor, I cut a rug. But then when Monday hits, it usually hits me really hard. See these people listen to themselves sometimes?
They have some fucking nerve.
76% of women are most attracted to an unexpected type of man. If fairy tales have taught us anything, it's that lovely, long-haired, and excessively feminine princesses stuck in a castle can't wait for that moment when a big, tough, and burly prince. And they said, allegedly, 76% of feminine women are attracted to feminine guys.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, chicks love effeminate women, or chicks love effeminate men. Story old as time. Chicks love effeminate dudes.
Well, Burly Danny doesn't like to think about the fact that my look might be in vogue right now.
Yeah. You're not a feminine man.
You know what it is? There's two parts of it.
Yeah.
One of the biggest parts about when people say that I'm like effeminate is that like my inflections and stuff are a little bit like that. But a huge part of it is people don't realize how big I am.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Like how tall you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like every time I'm on tour, at
people
least
always say they're like expecting.
Always.
Yeah.
So I think that like if you see me on a podcast, the way that I look, if I'm small, I'm way more feminine.
Right.
Do you know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah,
Because I'm
yeah.
kind of gangly.
Right,
Like
right.
if you picture me as a guy that's 6'3", pushing more, you picture me as like a gangly, skinny guy.
Yeah.
But if you picture me as small, you picture me as like more feminine.
Right.
So I think a big part of why that I come across way more feminine on a podcast is that people don't realize that I'm really big. So
And-
it's
yeah,
that
yeah,
I'm gangly.
Gangly. Right. All right.
But like a
I understand. Yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think people also, because we're Canadian too, for some reason think we'll be shorter just because we're Canadian. I appreciate it.
Possible.
I gotta go.
Okay, I thought you said 7:55 you're going.
No, I can't leave at 7:55.
Okay.
My spot's
Well,
empty.
I'm going to continue.
But you continue.
Why
I
don't
want
you?
this.
Why don't you just call a cab? Well, I will continue with this article. That studies have shown feminine women are attracted to more feminine men, while masculine women are attracted to more masculine men, which isn't actually that crazy. Danny's taking a fucking dump now. That's what we have to deal with. That's what me and the boys have to deal with. Danny says he's got to go somewhere. He's out there. He's just stinking up the joint, pissing all over the walls, as he is known to do. But it's not that crazy to say that you would, obviously, if you're a burly woman, you might be attracted to a burlier man because the moral of the story is the girls want a man that's more manly than them. But if a girl's super dainty, there's nothing that crazy about them having a man that is a little more feminine than them. So that's the moral of that story. It's starting to really seep in that Danny has been excavating all over. It is really starting to seep in. I don't know if you guys could smell this at home, but it is doing work. He's laughing, and I have an idea to believe that has nothing to do with me. This is a man laughing maniacally at his own shit. I would imagine that he finished the dump, looked in the toilet, and then burst out into a fit of laughter in some sort of bizarre ritual that I believe he is performing.
I did actually have to piss so fucking badly for the last like 30 minutes.
Now you know how I feel
Oh man, this is how you feel.
the majority of my life.
Small bladder life. Sorry, everybody. I owe you 5 extra minutes next week. Apologize. I'll let Ryan take this bad boy home. I love you all.
He has done the damage. He's still laughing maniacally. This is a ritual that he does. He likes to laugh. He likes to shit. Clogs the toilet. And that clog brings him joy. That's one of the only things in the world that brings Daniel Polishchuk joy, is watching his own clog. Basically, the water just starts to seep up, and then he just sits there, ha ha ha. And then
You are going to want to actually call a plumber about that.
we are going to want to call a plumber. And as Danny prances out of the studio, just a happy camper. And now, the boys are finally together again without the fat man. The fat man has exited the studio. Now, this one article that I will talk about is they have one that says men have no friends and women bear the burden. Toxic masculinity and the persistent idea that feelings are a female thing has left a generation of straight men stranded on emotionally stunted island, unable to forge intimate relationships with other men. And it's women who are paying the price. Now, this is the idea that men have no friends is partially due to a society. I'm going full. This is a society, ladies and a gentleman. But this is something that we could all talk about, that you definitely want to have friends, but there's so many people that when you're like a dad, when you're having like a family, anyone that's like in a long-term relationship, that sort of beats your friend's situation. So yes, you could say that, men need to have friends, but the idea that like women bear the burden, it was like, well, yeah, like the whole thing is a cause of it too. So why don't you start being like, hey, if you wanted to say, the article could be like, why, as a society, do we push men into situations where they slowly are ostracized from their friends one by little by little by little? Instead of that, instead of an accountability piece, we have an article that is yelling at them. So she goes, Leanne Kelly can't remember the exact moment she became her boyfriend's one and only. And on top of that, you have a situation where you're talking about a woman where you go, there's both scenarios. There's lots of dudes that have friends, and there's lots of women, and there's lots of dudes that don't. But you go, for in this scenario, it's like she's like, oh, here's my husband doesn't have any friends, and that sucks. And be like, yes, but it's like there's often the other way around too, where you're dating a girl that doesn't really have that much friends. This is what I would do without you. But she does remember neglecting her own needs to the point of hospitalization. I talked him through his aspirations, validated his opinions, and supported his career. I feel like, some people here know my take on support, where if you feel like you're someone that needs so much support, you weren't going to do the thing. It is correct that you don't want to be an obstacle. You want to be the inverse of negativity, and you want to create a peaceful environment. How to make your man feel peaceful. But support is not really necessary. It's way more that you just want to not be causing extra stress. I had to be his emotional guru. Well, yeah, because you have like sort of a feminine Weasley dude. If you are dating a guy that's like emotional and acting like, as Danny Martinello was saying this weekend when we were hanging out with him, he said female tendencies, which is when you have a guy that's just like over the top emotional and he says, oh, I need to be supported. I'm not being supported enough. Generally, that is just sort of looking for a scapegoat, because most of the time, if you are trying to like accomplish something, it's not going to be the support that makes or breaks it one way or the other, because he was too afraid to admit that he had any emotions at all, recalls the 24-year-old English teacher who was studying for her PhD at the time. So she's not making money. He's working. She's supporting his career. And this is also one scenario. After 3 years together, the exhaustion and anxiety landed her in the hospital, and her boyfriend claimed he was too busy to visit, and they broke up. So you have essentially a woman here, ladies and gentlemen, that had a man that she was dating. She was at school. He was supporting the whole operation. Now, this guy allegedly didn't have that many friends, potentially because he's busy with work. It's a busy man. What you don't want is to be dating someone that's got nothing going on. If someone has less friends, but they're busy and they have hobbies nonetheless, that's actually not that crazy. Where it gets crazy is, when you have like someone that just has nothing to do and you're their entire support system and you're their entire everything. But in this specific case, you just have like, and then you go to the hospital. It's like, if you have a girl that goes to the hospital and she's like, oh, I'm going to the hospital for exhaustion. You go, why? It's like, because I've had to do so much emotional support for you. It's like, that's the same thing with the support the other way, where you go, okay, well, let's also just do all the cards here. I'm not 100% to the blame that you had an emotional breakdown because I don't have friends. At some point writing this article, you go, had a complete breakdown. You go, why? It's like, well, because you don't have any friends. So, and to put me in a situation where I had to have a mental breakdown. After 3 years together, when the exhaustion and anxiety landed her in the hospital and her boyfriend claimed he was too busy. Unlike women who are encouraged to foster deep platonic intimacy at a young age, American men with their puffed out chests, fist bumps, and awkward side hugs grow up believing that they should not only believe by like stoic robots in front of other men, but that women are the only people they are allowed to turn for emotional support. Those two things are mutually exclusive, because you can be a man that is stoic and have lots of friends. It's not like the idea of, I would say there's lots of dudes that are like crazy emotional, crazy highs and lows. And a lot of times those guys have like a lot of female friends. Because if you're a dude that's just like too much, it's like, if you're that guy that's just like so up and down emotionally, it's like too much sometimes. And that's the guy that generally finds himself more friends with women. So it's like, this whole synopsis is just, I dated this guy, didn't like him, I went to the hospital, blamed it on him. But the women were the only people that are allowed to turn to for emotional support. If anyone at all. And well, that's the one where it's like, it's not that women are the only people you can turn to for emotional support. It's more that they sort of like it, because most times when you're dating a woman, I find that like even being friends with men and friends with women do like to talk about their feelings more and stuff like that. So yes, if you are the type of dude that's like friends with lots of women, it's like that is the type of stuff that you talk about more. And then on top of that, if you are a dude that acts more like a woman, you're going to want to have like more female friends for that situation. So a lot of fake analysis going on here, and eventually on-call therapist minus the $200 an hour fee. It's like, every guy's not like this. This form of emotional gold digging Pretty fun term. She's saying this guy's an emotional gold digger. Is not only detrimental to men, it's exhausting for the entire generation of women. So their moral is, yes, obviously dudes need friends and you are better off. And the truth is, you could say it's enabling because you might say like, oh, he's not allowed to talk about it with his friends. But like, also you might find a situation where a guy like this goes and hangs out with all his buddies and he finds that actually is more therapeutical than like ranting to his wife or girlfriend for, hours on end. And then her trying to make him open up. You actually might find that like a different situation, like the same, what your wife thinks actually is helping wasn't actually helping. It was just enabling. So it's kind of like if you have like dating someone that's like a drug addict in certain scenarios, you have a girl like this being like, and because men don't have this other thing, I have to deal with this. It was like, or this guy had like a toxic behavior and you enabled it over and over and none of his dude friends enabled it. And yes, he knows that if he goes to a girl, she's more likely to sort of deal with that BS. Whereas when you go to guys, they are less likely to deal with that. Men, and then she says, men don't usually put into the effort into maintaining friendships once they're married. The guys at work, well, so there is parts of this that are true and not parts, but it's like a male friendship is different than a female friendship. But yes, it is true that dudes, it is hard to put in the effort. So you almost just have to do it structurally. The best way is like, yeah, you have like a football pool of dudes that you do, or you like play a sport once a week, or you have something, or even like chat groups. Like it almost has to be structural because it's very difficult. Same with going to the gym. It's like, you would just have to accept that that's something that you need. And you have to be like, okay, I do it this day or I do it this time. You can't be like every morning I'll be like, should I do it today? So it has to be something that's sort of baked into your structure of your life. Because I think that's the part that dudes have trouble on one-offs randomly like evaluating everything every day because that's sort of bad for your head. The guys at work are the only people other than me that my husband even talks to. Well, it's fine if the boys at work are all his friends. Like I said, if guys that all work in like a fire hall or like I have most of my friends are people that I kind of work with, especially since I moved to America. And it's like, really, that's fine. So when some of these men retire, they expect their wives to be their source of entertainment and even get jealous that they have a life. But that happens the other way around too, in many cases. So I've seen both of that. But there is something to be said. As a dude, you do need to structure the friends into your life more because it's very hard to just wake up every morning and be like, oh, maybe I could do something with a dude. But the fat man has stunk up the studio. He is gone. He is at his show. In the Bugman Olympics, I'm going to destroy him. I'm a real man. Danny is a little boy that will be getting destroyed. So I appreciate all of you who have joined the Patreon. We are now a team that has taken over the world. I told you, I said that I'm putting a lot more effort into the podcast. We brought on some big guests. We are continuing to do that. I have a few huge names. We've even proposed that we might be flying down to a couple guests because we're going to bring a camera crew and try to do whatever we can to get a few huge people that we want. And there's like a couple of like the big people that, a lot of people have suggested. And then a couple ideas that we have that are like random people that you wouldn't expect that we think would be good podcast episodes. So we appreciate it. And this has been the BOYSCAST Patreon.